I'm Gold Derby News and Features Editor Ray Richmond, and I'm welcoming Valerie Faris and Jonathan Dayton, the team that directed 3 episodes of the 7-time Emmy-nominated FX limited series Fleishman Is in Trouble, to our Gold Derby Meet the Emmy nominees TV Directors panel. Valerie and Jonathan, you both received Emmy nominations for directing episode 7, Me Time. Talk about what it was like working with first-time showrunner Taffy Brodesser-Akner, who had adopted her novel and from all indications is quite the force of nature. First you, Valerie.
Perhaps even better. Yeah, she is great. I mean, she's amazing. We loved her scripts, and it was a first time for her. So, limited series, alone are a challenge, just logistically and kind of going so quickly into what's essentially
an 8 or 9 hour movie.
Yeah. But we loved her, and she was game, and
she also mentioned a couple times a day that she'd never done this before. So, she was very humble about the fact that everyone on the set was more experienced than her. And I think because of that, she was really open to learning and, listening to people, and luckily, I think we had a really great team.
And Sarah Timberman, was very involved, and Susanna Grant. So there was a brain trust there that made it all work. But her
talent, I mean, you stole our description of her, which is force of nature. She's just so completely, I don't know if she sleeps, but she was writing scripts as we were prepping and then rewriting them, and just handling all, and raising a family at the same time. I mean, just kind of she just seemed to have endless energy for this, and she was so excited about it. I mean, she broke into tears many times.
Of joy.
Yeah,
of joy.
Joy of, it's just kind of incredulous that the whole thing was happening. And so it made it kind of fun, because not that we've done limited series a lot, but it made it seem sort of like we're doing it for the first, all of it for the first time. So that was sort of fun.
Nice job making your showrunner cry. No, I can see actually from watching the series why you'd submit the 7th episode, Valerie and Jonathan, for Emmy consideration. I mean, one is these creative flashbacks and flash forwards that jump wildly through time. Really interesting. Another is how it's such an acting tour de force, obviously, for Claire Danes.
Yeah. She is amazing. And, I don't really feel like we can take credit for her performance. She just is such a pro and so surprising. And, we would talk about something and kind of let her go. And then for the most part, that's just what you do. You just watch her and enjoy what she's doing. And, I think we all were on the same page about what was happening for the character and what she was going through. And,
it was an intimidating episode. I mean, we shot the show in order, or at least our episode. So we did 1, 3, and then 7. And 7 was this thing on the horizon that was, I think, intimidating to all of us. But Claire does her homework, and she always comes very prepared and is really researched, the life and the kind of challenges of her characters. And so, it was really about creating a supportive environment where she could do her work and know, there were certain times where, our goal was to try and do something in 1 take or 2 takes at the most to really protect her. So she knew she could give it her all and feel comfortable that we were going to get it.
Like she, on this one scene where she has to do this kind of primal scream, we just knew that we had more stuff to shoot after that. But we also knew that if we wore her out on that and tried to do too many of them, it would sort of ruin the second half of the day. So we said, let's do it in 1 take. And we had no idea what she would kind of do with it. We didn't practice or rehearse it at all. And then she did this scream that lasted, it felt like it lasted 5 minutes. I don't know how she did it, but she just kind of blew everyone that was on the set just was kind of silenced by it. It was so incredible. And, she just, she deserves so much credit for this. And, the other thing I think about in these episodes, and in 7 particularly, just Lizzie Kaplan also, I think she has, her voiceover just is, it takes you through all these episodes in a way that I think it's because she felt the material, that she was saying it as if she was writing it as she's thinking of it as she's speaking it. And there's just something about her performance that I think you can't, it contributes so much to these episodes. So, I mean, our cast in general, but Lizzie and Claire in episode 7, I think are just, they just do such an incredible job. So we were lucky.
Intimidating, I can see what you mean about the, seeing episode 7 down the road and, oh, wow, that's going to be interesting when we hit that. Because I mean, it's so creatively rich and emotionally complex, and the point of view, it's just such a shift. That's got to be kind of a challenge as directors too.
It is, and we had developed a kind of visual motif early in episode 1, where we would turn the world upside down, and but we hadn't really thought through how that language would be used in each episode. But as we came to episode 7, it really, there were a couple of really great moments where that approach really supported the moment,
feelings and
so but it's a different animal, these.
And I think part of the challenge too was tracking her through the other episodes, even the ones that we weren't directing. And and I think that there's always this concern, are we just making her too much of a villain early on, and trying to balance that. But I think that was something we worked closely with Taffy on. She was very clear, like, I don't we don't need to make her sympathetic. And she didn't, even in episode 7, she was still the same character, but you were just getting to see her experience. It wasn't as suddenly she became, there was this personality change. So just, I think, calibrating that throughout the whole season, which is tricky when you're, it's different than a movie, because you're having to kind of do these handoffs with other directors. But it was great to have partners in Bob Puccini and Sherry Berman. But, so that kind of collaboration, I felt like we had a really good kind of shared sensibility and approach to the whole series. So I guess it worked. I don't know.
Oh, no, it worked phenomenally well. But one thing I need to ask is about the difficulties that might crop up being a married couple who work together as directors on sets. I mean, do you have like certain lines you won't cross with each other, where you sort of say, we'll talk about this, does anything like that ever happen?
We try to get all that stuff out of the way before we get to set, but we don't really fight on set ever.
The key is to really love the material and love our cast, and both those things were really true with this project.
And I think most of the fights and most of the challenges, so many of them happen in prep, when it's just the two of us sitting, thinking about how we're going to shoot something. We argue a lot, but
our children, often we get nervous when we'd be driving in the car talking about something.
This is before, not anymore.
But they would think we would be fighting, but we were actually just talking about work and
we'd always say
how we would do something.
Yeah, we're not fighting. It's just we're discussing, and I think they figured it out finally. But they usually, I mean, we do have kind of a blurry line between our personal lives and our work lives. And I guess that's why we have to behave well in both worlds. You know, if we screw up in our work lives, it really messes with our personal lives. So we try to be good to each other in both,
For every
in
reason.
both ventures.
You had mentioned, that the secret is loving the material. I thought you were going to say loving each other.
Oh,
Well, that's a given.
No,
That never changes.
yeah, but no, it is true though. Like we don't ever do anything unless we both feel equally, drawn to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think that's actually a good place for us to wrap.
Right.
Fleishman Is in
Yeah.
Trouble currently streams on Hulu. Valerie Faris and Jonathan Dayton, congratulations on your nomination.
Thank you.
Best of luck at the forthcoming Emmys, and thanks for joining us at Gold Derby.
Thank you.
Take care.